All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rebecca Freedom coming to you from California this morning. Gorgeous day in California. This is episode number 35 of Heard Not Seen, produced by none other than John Bathan. Felt like starting podcast off today with a little bit of a twist because you're used to hearing my normal California voice. And we're going to go into it with a bit of an Irish accent today because the Irish have a propensity for anxiety and depression. And maybe you know a little bit about that. And we'll be talking about today weight loss and money and sex and all the things that cause us anxiety and depression. Unfucking believable. All the shit that we go through every freaking day, being able to sing fucking, I can't even talk right today. I'm just getting the caffeine in my blood, getting the caffeine in my veins, starting to think to myself that I'm never going to be able to be my college weight again. And for some of you, that's lucky. You're never going to be your college weight again. All right, so we're going to do this Irish accent for about a whole other minute. So just take this moment and take a breath. Think to yourself, what am I stressed out about? What things am I actually worried about? What things are keeping me up at night? And even if they're not keeping me up at night, what things are making me think that I'm never going to find the love that I want, or I'm bored in my relationship, or I'm never going to make the money I want, or I'm just fucking stuck? Think about what you're fucking stuck with. Well, you're fucking stuck with your body, that's for sure. So you better be able to love it. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but today we're really going to focus on instant gratification versus long-term gain. That's our instant gratification versus long-term gain. We all focus on the here and now, get, mine, now. But what about putting off things till the future? What about the long haul? What about the love we're actually looking for? All right, now that we've all settled in to this lovely place where I'm about to sell you a sham well, because when you listen to somebody with an accent, it makes you want to buy shit off of QVC or something like that. Fucking insane. Insane. Also, this is going to be explicit. Just know that. You've already heard me swear and drop the F-bomb a couple thousand times so far in my podcast. Nothing's going to change this time, so if it offends you, go fuck yourself. Get fucked. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Dropping the accent, coming back to the normal Rebecca McClaskey today. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Well, that was fun. And it's fun to change things up a little bit. And I just want to take this time today. We're going to have a little chitty chat about long-term gain versus short-term gratification. Now, this is something that maybe we all know of. We conceptualize the idea of wanting everything now, but it takes time. Did you get that? Did you get what I did there? Because that's how it can feel when you really want something. And it's incredible when you find somebody and there's an initial spark. There we go. Come on, fingers. There's initial spark. And your brain, of course, will go into this imaginative place where it starts to assume you should feel like somebody who's been in a relationship for maybe 20 years or so, or even 10 years, or even just a whole year, but not less than a year. It really does take that much time to get into sort of like the intimacies and the depth and the knowing. And we simply mistake that level of familiarity. We mistake the spark, the chemistry, the possibility that could be, the what I want it to be, the general fear of dying alone, masked by lust. Ooh, that's a good combination. Let's rub our hands together with that one. The general fear of dying alone, covered up with this thing called lust. Ooh, baby, give it to me now. So, yeah, the caffeine's kicking in. So think about that. When you meet somebody, and this is the process. This is the reason I said, think about the things that cause you anxiety. So in the cast of this conversation, we're going to be talking about love, relationships, sex, money, all the components of our life that we end up stressing out about. And I can't think of one that's more stressful than hoping that you're attractive, that you can magnetize and be magnetized to the things that are meant for you, your purpose, place, and being in this world. Is that just me? Is no one else really give a fuck about what they're doing here and why they're here. Let's jump around, jump up, and get down. All right, so let me take a sip of my chai tea because I gave up coffee for Lent because I'm not even Catholic, but it seemed like a good idea. And then when Lent ends, I'm going to give up like sugar. We're going to go on the no sugar diet, which means like 0 grains or just whole grains, like whole brown rice. And then like none of this shit, like only black coffee. And just like you're down to like vegetables and proteins. But I mean, imagine like how good you feel. Also, I just found out that raw milk is incredible. Incredibly. All right, sip. 1, 2, 3. All right, so where were we? We were back at, the instant gratification we feel that when we mistake and we mask like our fear of like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to get what I want. I'm a loser. I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? I'm a loser, baby. When we feel that, we just crank that song and we're just like, everybody hurts. R.E.M. Sometimes. But you got to hold on. You got to hold on because you're here in this body on purpose. It's not an accident that like that particular sperm and that particular egg came together so you could grow up into this thing called air quotes adulthood / aging body and deal with desires and deal with like the karmic contracts and the impacts of being able to traverse this world. And some of us don't even feel capable of doing that, let alone able. So, you know, we don't. We give up and we go into our little panic attacks and fits of rage and our little, like, temper tantrums of, like, I'm not getting what I want when I want it. And so you, like, go out and buy, like, 12 books on the law of attraction and definitely download a fuck ton of Esther Hicks. Going in show notes, which she's like, you can't create your reality from a negative space. And we know this because of cognitive behavioral reality. Let's take a moment and tie this all together, shall we? Let's tie it together. So here we are, 7 minutes in. Glad you got this far. Good job. You made it. I did all that rambling just to illustrate that we want it when we want it in the first 2 seconds. The first 2 seconds of the podcast, if I didn't get your attention, you might have been like, click, not listening anymore, over it. This bitch is nuts. What the fuck? Just give me my goods and I got to get out of here. But what is so important that you have to get to next? Really? Like what else is there? Ooh, you get to pay more bills. Ooh, exciting. You get to go to a job lit with like fluorescent lights. Yes. Or maybe you're like in a tech company that's like super cool and savvy and they're like playing like laser tag in the lobby. Exciting. But look, what do you have to get to next that's so pressing, so important that you can't just like take your time with the information that's presented to you? If you're listening to this, it's not an accident. And I really encourage you to leverage this podcast to examine your anxieties. And in psychology, there's this saying, and maybe it's from Lao Tzu, I don't really know who it's credited to, that anxiety is placing the majority of your energy and attention on the future, and depression is placing the majority of your energy and your attention on the past. So let's talk about this elusive thing called the present moment, because living in the power of now is different than getting what you want, when you want, how you want it. Maybe. You know, this is all theory. Essentially, we have the id, ego, superego. I covered that in the last podcast. Essentially, the id is like, give me, the primal part of you. The ego is sort of like the face you show the world, and it really wants accolades, praise, validation. And then the superego is this connectedness to like the infinite being that you be. the all everything that is like, I have a body, we have a body, we are a body, and we're moving in unison. So here's one of the elements that really causes anxiety for people, that really pushes us over the edge, that makes us go a little batshit crazy with our decision making, especially when, feeling like this internal pressure to be like, I'm single, I should be in a relationship, which this is my little mini violin playing like, oh my God, I'm 37, I'm single, I'm going to die alone. Ah, which, I read an article about displaced grief, meaning that there's a lot of women that hit like 35 and they are just circumstantially infertile, meaning that, and I'm messing the terms a little bit. I'll put the link below, but essentially that we're not going to have kids because we just don't have partners. And maybe there's some guys that feel like that too, but guys, you just have a much longer span to enjoy fatherhood. And women, of course, have that shorter window. And all of this feeds back into the gratification, the things that cause us anxiety, because we just simply don't know how to reconcile the now, the nowness, the beingness, the us, the infinite, the higher self, with these lower vibration. And that's just so pejorative to say that. It's not like there's a hierarchy of like better or worse. It's just to say that, short-term gratification just has short-term gains. Long-term withholding of gratification can have long-term gains. I like it when I ramble. And I'm really, really trying to give you nuggets here. So just take the nuggets as they go. All right. Over the next 8 minutes, we're going to break it down into these categories: love, wealth, and health. And we're going to lay them against the backdrop of the things that cause us anxiety in each, and how we try to amend that with instant gratification versus long-term gratification. Congratulations, you made it this far into the organized part of the podcast. I'm so proud of you. Take a breath. Take a puff. Take a drag of that delicious California weed if you have it. If not, too bad. And sit back, relax. Here we go. So let's talk about love. Here we go. Love. Love is a mini splendor thing. That's what some people say. And it's also this big philosophical energy that takes our lifetime of experience to even begin to like fully integrate into our being. So just check that out. Like, there's romance, there's lust, which is not love, which is the immediacy of the feeling of love, the spike of like hormones and emotions. Yay, lust, woo, go. But the large wavelength energy that is love takes the entirety of our lives to integrate. And some of us are really fortunate enough to like fall in love with our high school sweethearts and be married for 40 years. And I love what Esther Perel says. She's like, some people, the average person will have 2 or 3 marriages in their lifetime, and some of that will be to the same person. Meaning that whether in the confines of a long-term relationship, or if you're just a serial monogamist, or if you're just getting laid and hooking up, you're hooking up like a freaking gas station. I don't know. Was that a good metaphor? I don't think it was. Another sip. Hold on. Whatever you're doing, love is going to be your teacher. It's, love lift us up where we belong. Yeah. And where do we belong? And that's the thing that causes us anxiety, deep seated hurt, pain. Our body, our flesh, our hearts, our muscles literally tense up around the concept, the feeling of loneliness, the lack of touch, the lack of interaction, the inability to vocalize our internal reality and have it witnessed by another. These things cause us such deep grievances and grief and anxiety that some people decide to commit suicide. They get so overwhelmed by it. And if you're feeling that way, I encourage you to call your local suicide hotline. Of course, we'll put the national hotline in the show notes. And the thing that causes us deep anxiety is just that like desire, that longing, that karmic, and karma literally means like a debt to be paid, right? There's this like empty feeling inside of us. And I recently had a conversation with my dear friend, Matt Hudgens. He's an incredible person because he just, he has to commute back and forth like 3 hours every day. And so he listens to books on tape. So he's like a walking encyclopedia. And he mentioned between male energy and female energy, something that Deida so expertly articulated, which is that males feel full up, like they have this internal combustible sort of feeling, right? And if you think about how males orgasm, there is this volcanic building that happens before the ejaculation, before the release and the emptying of their seed, just like empty out. And women, conversely, if you look at our genitals, they're like this void. They're this cavern. And so we feel women are this great, like fertile void, this like abyss, the womb, the cavern, waiting to be filled up. So men want to be emptied to feel that release and that pleasure and that expansion. And women, we walk around the fertile void and we want to be filled up to come to that nurturing completion, that roundedness, that Gaia, that mother energy, that sort of like seductress, sensual energy, the fullness of that, all 5, 6, 7, 8 senses coming together in concert to be able to light our bodies on fire. And men are just like, get this pressure off of me and out of me. And so when we're in this interaction, we're both, the polarities are just, like pistons, like pistons firing, and the spark plugs like sparking and the fuel firing and the pistons running up and down and causing that engine to roar. And in that roar, we feel that polarity of there he is. I'm so attracted to him. I want to be filled up by him. And so we go in the pursuit of being filled. And the great fear for men is being engulfed, being swallowed whole. And the great fear for women is not to be filled, but to be penetrated, to be stabbed by the sword to the death and dying of our egos and beings. Yes, can you feel that with me? What kind of anxiety is that provoking in your life? Oh my God, I'm stuck in this relationship. I can't get out of it. I married the wrong person. That person over there looks way better than me. And in my book, Breakup, Rehab, in the edits, I recently said that relationship is the process of two energies coming together to form a third energy or entity, much like red is just red and a primary color, blue being blue primary color, and together they make purple. But what happens when you're tired of purple and you are freaking ready to be red and yellow and make orange, that second chakra, vibrant, creative energy that just releases into the world innovation and imagination and creativity. Yes. Can you feel me? So we're really spending a little bit more time on love than we are wealth and health, because they are supportive features to this primary energy that drives us all. So take a breath now and look at the instant gratification things that you are doing to try to corral, control, contort around this massive energy of love that encapsulates the polarity of male and female energy, the yin and the yang, and how we're trying to create a harmony there. But the disharmony comes when, for instance, you grab your phone and you fill your mind with social media. And I've come down on social media because it is anxiety provoking. It provokes that part of our mind that says, why am I not doing, being, or having that thing the other person has? Why don't I look like that? Why don't I have that amount of money? Why am I not traveling the world? And in some ways, if you kind of go underneath the comparison, you can say, look at all I have access to through social media. I can dream a bigger dream and have access to the information on how to create that. So I would say the things that are causing anxiety in your life right now, if you're single or if you're in a relationship that you're not happy with, or you may feel really just content and sometimes even in that contentness on the edge of it, because of duality, you might feel like, oh no, I have to hold on to this because I might lose it because it is impermanent. Okay. So the crux of this podcast is to say, take a moment to allow for the integration of impermanence in your thought process. You may be single now. It won't always be true. There's going to be people brought into your life. Some will stay. Some will develop a depth of relationship with you. And there are some that are just blips because for that moment you needed that lesson. The short-term gratification in this case is really a referral to the compulsion to try to relieve ourselves from depression or anxiety. And that is what obsessive compulsive disorder is. The energy of the buildup of obsession, the ruminating, the thinking about, the overthinking, the plotting, the planning, again, obsessing over a particular concept, then feeling the pressure and feeling like something is wrong with me. I have to release this, or I have to get something. I have to fill up with something else, or I have to release something else. And the compulsion comes, the impulse comes where we send a weird text and then we second guess it and we go right back in to the rumination and the compulsion. So I invite you in this moment into mindfulness around your actions when it comes to gratifying your desires, when it comes to love and relationship, and to know that lust is an enjoyable energy, but it doesn't feed the soul. We made it. We made it a whole 10 minutes talking about love. So let's just bing, bang, boom into wealth, abundance. So think about the things you do to hurry up and get money. I can't even tell you how many times when I get stressed out about funds, I think, I'm going to go be a stripper. That's just the quick and easy way to do it. But the reality of the world of being a dancer for hire is that you have to wear 7-inch heels. You have to maintain your body. Oftentimes, you get sucked into the world of drugs and, of course, sex, prostitution sometimes, and you have to tip out the DJ, the bouncer, the cocktail waitresses. So if you're up there on display naked in front of everybody, and it might be a totally comfortable thing, that's not the moral thing, is not the issue, that what we think is going to be quick, fast, and easy hardly ever is. Very rarely. There is generally a price to pay with time. So I would say when it comes to wealth, that time is money. If you look at the first generation millionaires, most of them were, if they started, you see the story over and over again about homelessness, millions of dollars in the hole, or they just had this complete low point, the pit, before they soared up. And that took them, it wasn't like an overnight 6-month process. That took them years. And there are the anomalies, but even with Justin Bieber, he was on the internet, I think, for 2 years before Usher found him. And again, we'll fact check that. So when it comes to wealth, anything that you think is going to be like this quick, fast, and easy scheme, like multi-level marketing or something, it takes, just anything you do, think about quick, fast, and easy in the time frame of 2 years. getting your business together, starting a website, being an entrepreneur. Like you have to do accounting, you have to do marketing, you have to have a product or a skill that is really in demand. You have to look at market saturation, and there's so many other variables to look at when it comes to creating the income that's going to support your body, because that's what money is for. Money is for our bodies. Our infinite being, our souls don't need money. They have everything they need. And that can be part of the confusing conversation when it comes to gratification. Like, oh, you already have everything you need. Okay, well then why do I still want to ride in a Lamborghini or own one or drive a Bentley or have the thrill of a fast car, yet I'm driving a Civic? Like, what the fuck? I don't have everything I need. And I love, again, this is one part that I do love about Abraham Hicks. She said, you're not going to eat every meal of your lifetime in 1 hour. Like you have, imagine if you live just an average of like 60 years in America as a lifespan. You know, some places it's only like 37 as a lifespan, but imagine 37 years of meals, going from just like the tit, your mama's boobie, to like steak or whatever vegetarian option or vegan option you're choosing. You're not going to eat all of that in one day. So desire can really be a guiding light to the expression of your talents, to the things that are innate within inside of you. I know some people really love numbers, spreadsheets. They like the orderly way of being. They like things to be proper. And I generally encounter people like that, and I feel like they're tightly wound. But for the person that's not tightly wound and just this like random artiste, like their expressions come out differently. So when it comes to gratification, the things that cause us anxiety when it comes to wealth is the idea that we should have it now. Why don't we have it now? I'm a loser because I haven't figured this out. I don't understand the formula. I need to find a mentor who can teach me the particular formula. And that is true. Talent is just the raw material that's inside of you. Skill is the hours and hours of beating on your craft. Again, that is a Will Smith quote. Talent is just the raw material inside of you, but skill is the hours and hours of beating on your craft. And certainly I've spent the last 10 years studying human behavior, but I've only been an entrepreneur for about 4 years. And the game keeps changing, just like the Google algorithm. So the things that I do quick, fast, in a hurry, I generally have to go back in and change them. And there's nothing wrong with like editing as you go. That's pretty much what we're all doing. But when it comes to your wealth, there are clear templates to be able to earn a salary that supports the lifestyle you want. And those clear templates are the people who are working in those industries. So if you want to be a top realtor, you're going to have to start at the bottom, but get some really good guidance and know that you're going to be working 80-hour work weeks. It's, the glamour that goes with it also costs a lot of time. And if you look at Gary Douglas and Dain here, the founders of Access Consciousness, Gary's like 70 something, and he also works about 80-hour work weeks, 12 hours a day. I mean, of course, he's doing what he loves, but there's a huge administration to run. So don't have any like illusions about what money is. Money is meant for your body. It's representative of your time and space. Of course, people say work smarter, not harder. That's cute. It's a cute little quip, but it's basically like, where are you putting your focus and your inspired action to create this outcome? And everything is going to build on itself. A person who's been in business for 4 years is going to have more in place than a person who is just starting out with an idea. I have been working on my book, Breakup, Rehab, going on 4 years now, and that included self-publishing it, then getting a deal, and I'm back in editing mode again, which is literally like chewing glass. So just be really aware when it comes to wealth that's a long-term gain. That's long-term, and that requires schooling and navigating and leveraging debt. There's a whole, so if it's causing you anxiety, if like you're in the pool of like, I'm not making the money I want to make, I'm not in the relationship I want to make, then that's going to have an impact on your what? Yeah, health. Okay. So we're just going to do a really quick, what about your health is causing you anxiety? Because anxiety is really just a warning bell that you are out of balance. So I'm going to give the quick sort of suggestion when it comes to that, and say that I really encourage you to go to an acupuncturist. If you're feeling just energetically out of balance and you don't have any, malignant diseases, like if you're not dealing with cancer, heart attack, diabetes, any of that, but you're simply just stressed out, go to an acupuncturist. Figure out a way to get a massage. If you're in the healing industry, you can always trade your skills with another therapist, and that is a really great way to figure out your health. And when it comes to the things that stress us out around health is weight loss. We think, okay, what diet do I need to be able to be on to support my body? Well, again, everything builds it on itself and accumulates over the years. Like the metabolism I had when I was in my teens and when I was in college was pretty high. Like I weighed roughly 129, 130. And a decade later, I've gained the normal pound a year. So I'm up to like 145. Now, I'm not really comfortable with that. And some people, that would be their total goal weight. They'd be like, heck yeah, 145. So for me, I'm examining the different things out there that could really be supportive for my nutritional goals and for my lean muscle. And of course, yoga, really good instructed yoga is actually an Encinitas at Yoga Tropics. Total shout out to them. Amazing. Yoga really puts you in touch with the things that you shove in your shadows, the things you're not willing to look at, your character flaws show up on the mat. You know, if you're getting dizzy in class, it'll show you, well, maybe you haven't been hydrating enough in your life. And it kind of puts you in touch with some of the perpetual habits that you have. So I would say yoga is a devotional practice. It's not just this like how core power yoga does it, like, oh, good, you get to stand on your head. It's about every instrument in your body, all your bones working in concert, your thoughts, your breath, everything coming together to deliver this one pose of which you are just totally fully present in. And again, the thing that causes a disruption in our health is this preoccupation with the future, anxiety provoking, or the past. This I'm stuck in, like, I can't get past the past. And that all can be brought into balance through breath, through breathing, through meditation. And I'm going to be adding breath work and breath series to my website because I was reminded once again by this guy, Jim. He's like, get your fucking ass on the cushion. And you don't have to you can have I had a very distracted attempt at meditation today, but the fact of the matter is, at least for like 10 seconds of that 20 that I was trying to meditate, there was this blip of total alignment. And the more you practice, the longer those happen, the more that you don't have to effort into the moment, but rather you're in the yin receiving energy. And when you're in that receptive energy, your body naturally releases the energetic toxins, the actual toxins in your body, and you start to just gravitate towards and magnetize towards the choices that are actually going to be best for you and your body. I've noticed that when I work out, if I spent that like 30 minutes on the stair mill, which is fucking boring as shit, that I really don't want to reach for a donut, like I'm more inclined to say, like, let me maximize the energy that I invested here. And then of course, laziness begets laziness, and our habits, like, of indulgence are always present. They're always there for us. And that's the instant gratification of our bodies, is we just get into this indulgent, well, I deserve it. I just deserve this, like, cappuccino, mocha, frappuccino, sugar bomb. I do deserve it. Yeah, and maybe, but it's indulgent. And I want to just take a minute to look up what indulgent is. So Hold, please. So indulgent, due to Eddie Online, is to grant as a favor, to treat with unearned favor a back formation from indulgence, and be complacent, be indulgent, yield, give oneself up to. Like, that is, just think about that. This is surrendering of your body, the chi, the life force energy inside of you is this like current, this river, this like mystical, spiritual, physical, emotional helix of energy, like this combining, this coding inside of you. And the mind, when it becomes lax or lazy, gives way, gives this like leaks that power out. And we often do that when back to love, we leak our power out when we go through hookups. We're just like, oh, I can't withstand the pressure within. I just need to release it. And if you really want to release it into the void, go into meditation and expansion. We think, I don't have the money I need to just hurry up and put things on credit. I need to like find this sense of urgency. Okay, well, maybe you're being a little indulgent in your purchasing. And I know I do that. I have a bad habit. I'm like, ooh, pretty things. And again, I offer this to say that if we release the wrongness of us, and wrongness is simply where we cut ourselves off from the awareness that we live in a magnanimous universe that is really for us, and that we think that we're in a war, a fight, a battle. And again, I would say that the languaging against this that I really do ascribe to is that our war is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, and the dark forces of this world. That's Ephesians. So I say all of this to invite you in this moment to a place of humility, and being able to admit that you don't have all the answers, and it's not even the answers that you need. Rather, it's the guidance to access the truth inside, and that is what will set you free. So my invitation to you is to contact me if you're struggling with the consequences of instant gratification, the numbing out, the never satisfied, the esteeming of accomplishment over an achievement over just being who you be in the truest, purest form. Please contact me at RebeccaFreedom.com. That's REBEKAH freedom.com. My prices are going to vary upon the severity of, and sometimes the celebration of what you are needing to be set free from. Thank you so much for your time today. You did such a good job with my rambling as we got into the organization. And sometimes you just need to throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks, go with it, and then be brave and try again. I leave you with that sentiment today. When it comes to instant gratification, know that everything you try is just an experiment. Don't judge yourself as wrong. Just take a breath, be brave, and try again.